see a lot of victimhood, like it's happening to me, but she's not really taking ownership and accountability for what's going on in her life. And I think that's really sad, because I think that's also how she ends up jumping from relationship to relationship to relationship. And I have said this before on my channel that I used to be like that, very much so. In fact, when I almost got married when I was 21, which was 14 years ago, I cannot believe it. It was to an older guy from another country. I'm not going to say which country, but I kind of felt forced into getting married. You know, I didn't want to marry him, but because of his situation, his legal situation, he wanted me to marry him. I couldn't do it. I couldn't go through with it. I don't know if admitting that is wrong on camera. Legally, I didn't do it, so I'm not guilty of anything. Hi everyone, welcome back to No Light Time. My name is Hallie, so grateful to have you all. I'm back. I had allergies and I have had a crazy month, and it's almost the end of June, but I couldn't really record that much. If you can hear my voice, I've just recovered, and so I'm grateful. I lost my voice, I gained my voice, I lost my voice, but I figured out what the issue is. I'm allergic to dust, and there was dust in my apartment. I had to clean it, and things were triggering me. My AC triggered me, so forth and so forth. I'm a lot better now, so thank you for all the well wishes. I'm back, and I have decided to do the videos a bit differently. I'm going to start including a lot of readings into one, and I'll do timestamps, so that way, because a lot of you have asked me for longer videos, and that way I can do longer videos, and that way also I'll release it once a week. I do have my other video for members, the membership to learn tarot, but just to make it easier, you know, so I don't have to edit too a lot. And there will be timestamps, like I said, throughout the video. I used to do this before. I stopped doing it because I don't know, I want to try something new, but I always want to try new things, and so I've just included a lot. It just makes it easier, I feel like. So I'm doing 2024 predictions for the rest of the year. It is halfway through the year. I will continue next week, and so forth and so forth. Every Thursday I'm going live at around 7 p.m, 7 or 8 p.m. So check that out too. I do have 2 memberships available. I have a Tarot Weekly course and also early access and so forth and so forth. So check that out if you're interested. Okay, so let's get into the reading. Please like the video, please subscribe. I'm doing 6 readings in one today. Yeah, so let's get into it. I do have my water in case I run out of, in case my throat gets dry and so forth. Okay, so I'm starting off with Justin Timberlake. I'm using the Lightyear's Tarot, and this is a week, I believe, after he got arrested. He was arrested under DWI. Poor guy. I mean, not poor guy, but you know what I'm saying. I really don't like drunk driving. I think it's very irresponsible. Myself, I don't drive. A long story. I lived in New York for many years, so I never needed to drive, and I feel like driving is very stressful, so I just don't drive. But I think it's very responsible when there's so many ways you can get yourself home to not use them, you know. So actually check out my stories. I will be donating to MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, every month. I used to do this before. I'm going to go back to it. I do charity, personal charity, but I want to encourage and promote other charities. So I'm going to go back to every month. I did a charity, and this has inspired me to donate to MAD, M-A-D-D. So if you want to be inspired too, check out my Instagram, my stories, and we are going to be donating this month to them if you want to join. So he just got arrested a week ago for drunk driving. Some of you have messaged me, emailed me, commented saying, please do an update on Justin Timberlake, please do an update. This morning I woke up, my Instagram popped up, and I popped over my Instagram. I saw page 6 had Jessica Biel with her new haircut. You know, I don't want to talk about women's physical appearance, but she doesn't look very happy, is what I can say. So I picked up his energy for the rest of the year. I might do her next week, actually. I didn't plan on doing her this week, but I might do her next week because, I don't know, it's just something about her that rings unhappy, very unhappy. So with 7 of Wands, 9 of Cups, and King of Pentacles. So I did pick this up before. I said, especially with 9 of Cups, he wants to prove to Jessica that, you know, and as the Sun in Aquarius, I've dated mostly Aquarius men. They're very charming and they can loop you in. They can really like pull you in. So I understand how she's being pulled in. I mean, I've been able to be pulled out, and I don't really get that much into, you know, Aquarius men don't really charm you like that because I can see through their charm. But if you're not, I can see how they can like draw you in, especially because his rising is Sagittarius, and Sagittarius also are very, very charming. So he's been able to kind of charm her and say, I'm going to change, things are going to get better. I think she's definitely contemplated, and by she I mean Jessica Biel, his wife, has definitely contemplated leaving. But he wants to promise her stability. He's like, I'm going to change. King of Pentacles, stability. I'm going to change. I'm going to do better. But the underlying energy, the devil, is addiction. You know, I never thought about it. It came up a long time ago in my readings because when I was sick, I was watching some of my past readings to see what I can improve on. And I came across a video I did a long time ago of Justin Timberlake, and I said that I see some kind of drinking issue going on. I can't remember which one it was, so I can't link it because I did watch a few, but I did say I see some kind of mental health drinking issues going on around him. So let's see. In fact, you know, I say this all the time about Geminis, but I'm looking at Aquarius too. I don't drink anymore. I stopped drinking. I was in a relationship. I'm only talking about myself because I am a Sun in Aquarius and it relates to the story. So I stopped drinking. I've never been a heavy drinker. The only time I heavily drank was when I was with a Capricorn, one of my exes, and we drank together. That's when I heavily drank. But other than that, I've never been a heavy drinker. But I've seen a lot of Aquarius heavily drink, you know, and I think it's this energy of, from my perspective, when I did heavily drink with my ex, it was because I was in a toxic relationship. But it's also a way to suppress and avoid. And Aquarius are absolutely masterminds at avoiding emotions, you know. And it's very interesting because I have been in therapy, and my therapist recommended that I look at, or rather read this book called Attached, talking about attachment styles. I was in a friendship that wasn't really healthy for me, and he said that this person has avoided attachment issues. I found it very interesting, so I researched it, and I found out different attachment styles. It's in New Science. Different attachment styles. I'm only talking about it because it's so powerful about how we connect to people. And what I found very interesting was that he said that and I think a lot of Aquarius, because I have gone through my phases by being avoidant, but avoidant people will, and I see it a lot in Aquarius, and a lot of Aquarius I know, they will avoid dealing with their emotions because they can't handle their emotions. So I'm seeing here a lot of that lack of ability to handle emotions, suppressing emotions. And it's very sad, you know. I've been doing research on it, watching YouTube videos about it, and I think it's society as a whole. We kind of try to shun, even when I tell stories about even this situation in general that I was going through with my friend. A lot of people are like, oh, you can't do that, you can't. And I'm like, but you can't just tell somebody, don't do this. You have to explain why, you know? And I think we are very two-dimensional people in general. And I think sometimes when people tell stories, just listen, you know. I only say that to say that I feel like when we listen, we find so much truth, and we can really delve deep into a situation, and I think we become very like monotonous people, that it's like yes or no, you know, but there's a lot of gray area in life. And yeah, it's just what I found. It's very fascinating. So let's see what the outcome of this. So I see addiction issues, avoiding emotions. Yeah, that's what my point was. Avoiding emotions, which a lot of people do, especially millennials. I'm a millennial, and I see it a lot in millennials. I think Justin Timberlake's millennial too, but he's one of the older millennials. I see it a lot in millennials, and I think we learned it from our boomers. Okay, so he's going to try Two of Cups, Two of Pentacles, Ten of Cups. He's going to try to restore this relationship. This relationship is over. He's going to try to restore it and be like, you know, I see this, I see that, but I still see her filing for divorce. I get October. Time is fluid, like I always say, could change, but that's what I see. October of this year or the next year, she will be filing. And let's see what ultimately is the last straw for her, because she stayed for a lot. She stayed for more than I would, honestly. But I don't know, you know, I say that a lot, but marriage is different to just dating. That's why I don't know if you're married. Okay, let's see. What's going to make her leave this relationship? She is going to feel like she's not the only woman in the situation, if you know what I mean. Wow, so fascinating. So please let me know what you think. I'm going to move on. You know, I really highly recommend that book. It's by Amir Levine, and I forgot, he has a co-writer that's a woman. So fascinating. And what I love about life is that we can always learn and grow, you know. And I mentioned before that I had a friend that I was very close with, and I had to stop being friends with him. And you know, friendship is so important to me. That's why it really bothered me that I had to stop being friends with him, but because we're very close. But understanding how people process emotions is so important, and I don't think we really talk about it that much, especially with signs, you know, tendency for sun signs. And like I have mentioned this before, I used to be very avoidant, and actually my Capricorn ex taught me what I do to other people, and he was a mirror of how I've treated other people, and it made me want to change. So yeah, let's get into the second, Taylor Swift. So let's talk about Taylor Swift 2024. What's up ahead for her? She's a Sun in Sagittarius. I'm just going to pull energies. I'm not really going to go into career love. I just want to see what's happening. I'm using also the Crystal Magic Tarot. I love this tarot deck. I love all my tarot decks. I'm so grateful. Yeah, so let's get into it. The energy that I pick up about Taylor is avoidance, which is so funny because I think it's a very artistic thing, and I've seen this because, you know, I wouldn't consider myself an artist, but I'm often surrounded by artists. I used to be in the music industry. I've dated a lot of actors, a lot of musicians, and what I see in the common thread, chefs too, are artists. What I see as a common thread in a lot of artists is avoidance, avoiding emotion. And I think there's a victimization that comes with avoidance, which I see in her a lot. I like Taylor Swift. I don't like her as a person. I don't know her personally, but I like a lot of her music. In fact, I love her music. This last album didn't really do it for me, but what I love about Taylor Swift is just that she's so simple, you know. Every artist that I like for different reasons. And the thing though, however, with her is that she is very focused on victimizing herself, which is a very artistic thing to do. I noticed a lot of artists victimize themselves, except for actors. A lot of actors I've dated, and I've dated most actors, have been phenomenal people, honestly. Really phenomenal people. I was telling a friend the other day that when I've dated actors, I've told them, hey, I have this issue, we're not communicating, and they're like, you know what, thank you, I'll work on this. And it creates this bridge, and they actually do it, which I find very interesting to other artists, because I feel like musicians will tend to be very victim, and I see that with her. Very victim. So as much as I love her music, I have to be honest, the justice, and I consider myself a Swiftie. Well, not really, I don't really belong to anything, but if somebody called me a Swiftie, I'd be okay with it. Because that's how much I love her music. So with the Justice, Six of Wands, and the High Priestess, I see her here trying to get even about something. I think this might be Scooter Braun. I think she might be helping to take him down. I would encourage her to not focus so much on being vengeful, and really focus, Seven of Wands, Ace of Cups, on herself and her growth. I think she's gotten in the pattern, like I said, victimhood, me, this is happening to me, it's happening to me. But to reverse it, to change it, and to say, hey, this is happening for me. Because I see a lot of victimhood. Ooh, whoops, my cards almost fell. I see a lot of victimhood, like, it's happening to me, but she's not really taking ownership and accountability for what's going on in her life. And I think that's really sad, because I think that's also how she ends up jumping from relationship to relationship. And I have said this before on my channel, that I used to be like that, very much so. In fact, when I almost got married when I was 21, which was 14 years ago, I cannot believe it. It was to an older guy from another country. I'm not going to say which country. But I kind of felt forced into getting married. I didn't want to marry him, but because of his situation, his legal situation, he wanted me to marry him. I couldn't do it. I couldn't go through with it. I don't know if admitting that is wrong on camera. Legally. I didn't do it, so I'm not guilty of anything. Excuse me. But after I broke up with that engagement, I really did some internal work. I used to be the victim, and I used to jump from relationship to relationship. I've said this before. And it really opened my eyes. My therapist said to me, you create your life, and you need to focus on things that you want to flourish and grow. We reap what we sow. And it was the first time that I really felt accountable for my actions. I think in general, as women, we tend to, and I think this is what happens with a lot of Taylor Swift fans, I catch myself too getting all worked up and emotions when I hear her songs, and I'm like, I'm the victim too, I'm the victim. And it's like, no, you're not, because every situation, every relationship, unless it has something to do with ABUSE, we contribute to. And sometimes even, I don't want to bash anybody that's been in something mentally, ABUSIVE, but even in the beginning, there are certain signs we can look for that we can prevent moving forward. So I think in most relationships that aren't dark, that don't involve psychopaths, both parties contribute. And it's time for her to take her ownership. I think even when she does take ownership, it's kind of like, oh, because of this, and it's not really full ownership, So let's see what's going to happen with her love life. I do see her helping to take Scooter Braun down. I think something's brewing with him very strongly. So yeah, this is also what I see with Sun and Sagittarius. I think sometimes Sun and Sagittarius have difficulty moving on and being the bad guy, similar to Libras, you know. I think we all, in a certain way, have that. But especially with Libras and Sagittarius, I've noticed that if somebody doesn't like them or they're seen in a bad light, they tend to fixate on it. And with 8 of Wands, 3 of Swords, that's kind of her karma, you know. What she wishes other people bad for. She's like, you made me look bad, so now I'm going to make you look bad, you know. Which is not very healthy. And it's not moving on. Really moving on. And it's difficult, you know. Sometimes you really just have to take the high road, even though it sucks. And I do believe in justice, for sure. But I also believe in you can't fight everybody at the same time. Especially when you are sensitive. And your energy gets disrupted by certain things. So 10 of Wands and the Emperor. Trust me, I've had to, I think I might have mentioned this before, but I had to really, I used to teach yoga in LA. It was a yoga studio that did me very wrong. I don't want to go too much into details, but I couldn't find a lawyer, even though I got the right to sue. I couldn't find a lawyer because the owner was a lawyer. And I'm sure he had his ties, whatever. I don't want to get too much into it. But I had to decide that even though they did me wrong, I have to move on with my life because it was eating me up inside, you know. So as much as I do believe in justice, I also do believe you have to weigh out your options. You can't fight everybody. And she wants to fight everybody, you know, that did her wrong. And it just, life doesn't work like that. Because we end up moving backwards. With the 10 of Wands and the Emperor, it's going to take a toll on her. Especially because I think Scooter Braun is going to fight back. He's not a very nice guy, Scooter Braun. I get very toxic energy about him. I think I might do a reading on him very soon because I feel like I need to. Lots of darkness, lots of anger I get with his energy. And it's funny because the interview she did, she said the trash takes itself out. But she needs to really practice that because she's not practicing it. And it's tough because trust me, I've had work bullies and I'm like, I really wish that something would happen to them, you know, not like in a bad way, but I wish they would learn their lesson. And sometimes memories take you back to what they did and it hurts, you know. But that's where we have to do the internal work of accepting that there's a bigger plan. If we're going to take legal justice, but being vengeful is never the way to live life. Okay, so let's move on to Zayn Malik, or Malik, however you say it. I'm using Pig Steel Soleil Tarot. I love this tarot deck. I love all my tarot decks, like I said. Excuse me. So a bit of a cough. Yeah, so let's do, I'm going to pull this energy. Okay, so with 8 of Swords, in fact the energy that I got was actually quite light-hearted energy for Zayn, which is very interesting. But yeah, that's the energy I get, light-hearted, not letting things get to him. So it's interesting I get 8 of Swords as the first card because it seems like 8 of Swords can feel or appear to be like, hey, everybody leave me alone. But sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's good to be in that space of everybody leave me alone so I can focus on 5 of Wands, 6 of Cups, myself. On myself. And my own journey. Wands is about journey. Oftentimes 5 of Wands is when you are taking your own journey. And the boss of the deck being Ace of Swords. He's really thinking. A lot of thinking, a lot of planning. Somebody asked me to see about his new album, what's coming out with that. I have picked up before, but I really strongly believe like his album is not going to be, he wants it, this is what I've noticed about Capricorns actually. Wow, this is so funny because I had someone that I know, very similar energy, 2 Capricorns that I know, very similar energy where they're really afraid of failure. And because they're so afraid of failure, sometimes they don't even start. So he's afraid of failure, and because he's afraid of failure, he's like testing the waters, seeing what will be the outcome. But you'll never know till you do it, you know. I was listening to, you know, I love my housewife stuff, and I listen to sometimes this, I watch this YouTube channel when I clean. She's called Michelle Atielian. She's talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta. In a nutshell, one of the callers that called into her show said that experience is a great teacher. And it's so true. You know, there's certain things you're like, if I just know it perfectly, and I can do it. But you'll never know until you do it. You know, you'll never know, especially with Zayn and his music. He's never going to know how the public's going to respond to it unless he releases it. That's just how it is. And all of it, it's almost like he doesn't want to give his heart, which is a very Sun and Capricorn thing, actually. I'm seeing that, where they come across cold because they're afraid to fully be vulnerable and to fully give themselves, but they're only hurting themselves in that way. So let's see. Okay, so he's going to release another three songs. I just really wish he would release a song, but I'm not him. 6 of Swords, 9 of Wands. So 2 of Pentacles, 6 of Swords. So yeah, and he's going to keep analyzing, overthinking. Capricorn, you know, I'm a Sun in Aquarius. We get the rep of overthinking, but I really think it belongs to Capricorns, because Capricorns overthink. And I have Capricorn in my chart, so I can relate to a lot of the overthinking that Capricorns go through. So I'm not just speaking to Capricorns, I'm also speaking to myself. The overthinking. The difference with Aquarius is that we just end up doing it. Capricorns struggle to really, even though they tend to be hard workers, they're hard workers if they know it's going to go right. They rarely ever take chances in life, and I think that really holds them back. It's holding him back, you know. So 10 of Wands in reverse and the Empress. I also see a feminine energy, might be a sister, somebody telling him, you need to do it. You need to just go for it. Stop with the hesitating. Stop with this. Stop with that. Move forward. And he's going to take her advice over time. But he needs, and in fact, if you're a Zayn fan, I would encourage you, maybe write on his social media. Once you hear your music, don't force him, but just remind him of the good things, because he's a very talented person. He's got so much going for him, and I think I've seen that a lot with Sun and Capricorns. They forget that they have so much going for them. They're very critical, earth signs in general, very critical of themselves, and they forget that they're human, and they're just like mean to themselves and to others. It ends up being a trickle effect, you know. Okay, so let's move on. I'm going to be using the Moonchild Tarot for Justin Bieber. I won't be doing a reading on Hailey Bieber because she is pregnant, and I have a no pregnant reading policy, but I'm more than happy to do a reading on him. I was accurate. Go back and watch some of my videos. I said he was going to be taking control of his finances. He just fired his manager, I believe. Somebody sent me an article. I read it, and he fired his manager and so forth. So let's get into this. Let's pick up in his energy. Okay, that wasn't hard to talk to Sandy. I felt actually a lot of love. I think he's happy. Well, of course he is happy to be a dad, soon to be dad. I felt a lot of like maturity. I think he's going to make a great dad. I really, really believe that. I do think, however, him thinking, I don't know why people think this. It's never the right option, but I don't know why. I think it's biological that we think this sometimes, that a baby's going to save a marriage, and it never does. And this is the thinking I see here. Justice, 8 of Swords, Page of Pentacles. I see here, okay, this is going to save the marriage, justice. You know, I saw before she announced she was pregnant, I saw a divorce imminent, but especially when a baby's young, it just puts more strain on the relationship. I haven't had children, but I've seen it in my friends and my family. You know, your bond has to be strong before you have that child. It just has to be. And you can't force a bond. You just can't. So with 4 of Wands, the bottom of the deck, they're going to renew their vows, something like that. I think I picked that up before, actually. I picked up the vow renewal. They're going to renew their vows and declare to the world that they are meant to be together, and so forth and so forth. But the problems that they had are still lurking. And they're not going to go away. Baby's not going to make those problems go away. So sometimes, you know, when I picked up on A$AP Rocky and Rihanna a long time ago, they're like, oh, she's having a baby. I'm like, so what? I don't know why there's such a shallow mindset that babies are going to save everything. You know how much pressure that puts on the child? And just because you're having a baby with somebody, do you know how many people have a baby and then they break up the next year? I'm not wishing that on them. I'm just saying that breakups after babies happen all the time. A baby is not going to save a relationship, okay? I want us to get out of that thinking. So 6 of Wands in reverse, because it's so much pressure for the child, and that is a soul that's coming into this world. It's a soul that needs to be protected. It's not just an asset that's gonna lock two people together. It doesn't work like that. So 6 of Wands in reverse, Knight of Swords, 3 of Wands. I see very strongly that he wants to kind of venture out. He's gonna be a great dad. He's very happy, very successful. You know, he's gotten a lot of his mind back. I was concerned last year that he was being taken advantage of, but he's taking control of himself, taking control of his finances. There's a lot of taking control, because 4 of Cups, he learned from the past. He learned who he could trust and who he couldn't. And you know, people used to be mean about Justin Bieber. I always defended him. Even though I didn't like some of his actions, I understood that he was a child who wasn't ever really given a proper chance at life. You know, even though somebody has, you know, I remember at work I defended him because one of my colleagues was being rude about him. And this is when Justin Bieber was a teenager. And I was like, why are you as an adult insulting a teenager? Like, you need to look at yourself, you know? I used to get really defensive about him. Not because he's a celebrity, but because I've always had empathy for child stars. It's not an easy stance to anybody famous that is just living their life and doesn't really, you know, like, I don't know. I just feel uncomfortable with the open judgment towards somebody that is making the best of what they can, you know? And he's been through hell. Justin Bieber's been through hell, and I don't support the anger and the just open rage against somebody who you could tell was just trying to do the best that they could. So yeah, that's just my rant about why I've always supported him. Okay, not supported him, but just like defended him and like just leave him alone. If you were a teenager and everything you did, because I was not a good teenager, let me tell you that. I was very naughty, and my teachers did not like me very much, and I can't imagine. Sorry, that was really loud. I can't imagine being held to a high standard about something like that, you know, about being in the public eye, stuff like that. It's just, it doesn't ring right with me. So I always defend child stars, famous people's children. It's just, they deserve to grow up without constant judgment. Same thing, reason why I always defended Britney Spears, like the constant judgment. And it's like these people make millions of dollars. Anyways, I'm not gonna get to it because I'll be here the whole day. Okay, so let's do Selena Gomez. I have 2 more to do. Selena Gomez 2024. Check out my previous videos. They're very interesting about her and Benny Blanco. I don't have a good feeling about him. That's just my opinion. Yeah, that's just my opinion of him. I think it's very similar to her relationship with Justin Bieber. think she gets breadcrumbed a lot, emotionally avoidant. I really recommend reading this book, Attached, guys. It's so... Once my therapist explained attachment styles and how we form bonds, it's so powerful. And I see that with her, is that I feel like, especially if you have a good heart, you know, a big heart, you love to give. There's certain people that you give to, and you're like, do they care about me, you know? But it's just because they can't handle being cared for or handle the emotions that come with that. So it's very fascinating. So Selena Gomez, I see that with her. Definitely strongly see that with her. And it's called anxious attachment, where you're like, oh my gosh, this person's not going to leave. Which I've definitely had phases of that. Through therapy and healing, I've definitely become more secure, but I can recognize myself in the anxious side. Okay, Selena Gomez, 2024. Interesting. So I'm using the Muse Tarot. I was going to say I love this deck, and I was like, I say that about every deck. So with Ace of Cups, the Lovers, and Four of Swords. Interesting. So this is what I predicted. I think she feels alone in this relationship, especially with Four of Swords. You know, Four of Swords is oftentimes when you get heartbroken, or when you're just in a space of, you see how she's dreaming, with her eyes closed, she's like fantasizing, which I think is a very water sign thing. I think a lot of water signs, she has Sun in Cancer. Water signs tend to be very dreamer types, you know. They don't really, I don't know. I think everybody is specific, especially depending on your Venus sign. But I think something about her that's very interesting is that you can tell, also with being an artist, she dreams a lot. She has a dream mentality. Boston deck, 9 of Cups. Lots of emotions arise in her. Especially when she's fallen in love with somebody. I don't want to get too much into therapy stuff, because I just had such a revelation and epiphany about this whole attachment thing. But one of the videos that I watched on YouTube about this attachment style, because I see it with her very strongly, is that it's important, if you're one of these people that's anxious attachment, to vet out who you date, because you get attached. I get attached. That's why I am very much like that. I vet people out a lot in the beginning, because you don't want to get attached to somebody that doesn't value what you're giving them, which can happen quite often. It's not to say walk around like guarded, but just like, okay, this person's not for me, it's fine, I'm going to move on. Which I don't think she did here. I think it was very spontaneous, which is fine too, but I think she has a lesson to learn in that. And some people never do learn that lesson. I think she will, though. I think she's going to learn that lesson massively in this relationship. With 8 of Swords, 3 of Cups, 6 of Wands. Interesting. So she's going to learn her lesson big time. Everybody's going to learn the lesson with her. All her fans are going to learn the lesson with her and be like, you know, Selena, this guy's not for you. He treats you like crap. Nah. She's going to be like, no. I say it all the time, Sun and Cancer curse. They give a lot. They're kind of like the example of what I'm talking about, of attachment, anxious attachment, where they give. They stay, and everybody's like, what's wrong with this person? Can't they see that this person is just not good for them? And they're like, no, I believe in this. Even if they're the only person that believes in the relationship, they'll still stay. And it's painful. I've been there. It's painful, you know. It's a Queen of Wands and Awakening. She will eventually leave. And when she leaves, she's going to be very sad. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's get December. Again, time is fluid. But I see her leaving December of this year. Yeah. Okay, let's wish Selena well, because I really think she does try. I will be doing a career update on her very soon, so stay tuned. And I think a lot of new things are coming with her with Keanu Reeves. If you're staying in your Keanu Reeves fan, please don't be toxic. I get a lot of toxic Keanu Reeves fans here. I'm just reading what the cards tell me. Everybody's like, they broke up, him and his girlfriend, but they're still together, you know. So please don't be a toxic fan. It's not fun. Okay, Keanu Reeves 2024. So let's see. Okay, Keanu Reeves. Wow, this is very interesting. Very, very interesting. So I get very strong energy, the Star, Pentacles, the Sun, that he is going to be working a lot. And he's a Sun in Virgo. Sun in Virgos, Sun in Aquarius. Feel like, I wouldn't say we're not getting enough, but feel like the relationship's over, then we start to overwork. 5 Swords. I think that he wants to leave the situation, and it's sad because people don't like that I root for her, but I think he found real love in her. But now, 4 of Cups, things have gone the wrong way. What happened? What happened in this situation? Also get April. Something's happening in April next year. What happened? 4 of Cups. What happened? Okay, so I think she became jealous. King of Wands, 6 of Wands, the Strength card. She became jealous that he was propped up a lot. Not good. Not good. I'm gonna tell you, it's not. And like I said, I've dated 2 celebrities. It's not easy to do it because your security is really tested, you know. I remember, I don't want to tell the story. Actually, I'm not going to tell the story. It's irrelevant. I don't want to talk about my exes anymore. But in a nutshell, you really have to be confident in yourself. So the Temperance, 4 of Swords, he's had talks with her. I think that he gives a lot to her. And she's very she's Sun in Aries, right? Sometimes I really struggle with Sun in Aries. I really do. Sometimes I really, really struggle with Sun in Aries. I just feel like sometimes they can be very mean people. Not all the time, but some of the time they can be very selfish people. And he wants to be benevolent. He wants to give. He wants to do this. And she's very me, it has to be like this or else. And with 4 of Swords, he kind of just wants to be alone. You know? He just wants to be alone. He doesn't want to entertain her anymore. So we'll see. I see that happening. Him leaving, him working a lot and leaving their situation. We're going to hear stories of them not together anymore, fighting, which is very sad because I have a friend who worked with him, said great things. In fact, I have 2 friends that have worked with him, said great things about him. So I wish him lots of happiness, and it's very unfortunate. But yeah, so I am going to end this video. Thank you guys, everybody, for watching. Next week I'll release another video. If you're a member, you get early access. I also automatically make suggestions you have, so please like the video. If you want to become a member, please become a member. And please support the channel any way that you can. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching.